today in the heat. So joining us on everything heat safety related is Dr. Quinn. Good morning, Dr. Quinn.
Good morning, ma'am.
It looks like you're staying cool in the air conditioning, as I am. But what are the most common heat injuries and how dangerous can they be, so we can just inform our viewers?
Well, the first thing that I want to convey is the fact that I spoke to one of my emergency room doctors yesterday, and he said the majority of heat injuries are preventable, which are heat cramps, heat exhaustion, and the worst case scenario, heat stroke. But there are three things you have to remember. During the hottest times of the day, don't go out there and do exertion if you don't have to. Number two, stay hydrated. And then number three, listen to your body. Because at the end of the day, these heat injuries, they come with certain symptoms that you experience. And if you listen to your body and you follow the recommendations that we're going to provide, you can save your own life.
Absolutely. Dr. Quinn, it is so important to listen to your body and to stay hydrated, of course. There's a lot of things to prevent heat-related illnesses. And like you mentioned, something preventable you should take those extra precautions, before it's too late. So what do you do when you think someone is having a heat injury?
Well, the first thing you want to do is you want to talk to them and just ask them, how are you feeling right now? Because if they're in heat exhaustion, a lot of times they could be kind of confused. They're sweating profusely. Their heart is beating very fast. And they could be a little dizzy. If they convey any of this, or if you're that person, you ask yourself, get out of the heat. If you're able, just get out of the heat, get into a cool air-conditioned building, and hydrate. Water, Gatorade, electrolytes, whatever you can get access to. And before you even go out there, hydrate. But
right.
Like I said, try to avoid the most extreme times of the day when it's the hottest. And that's anytime after, say, 7:30 or 8 o'clock a.m. or even before 6:30 or 7 o'clock p.m.
Absolutely, Dr. Quinn. That's a huge part of it, is just staying out of the heat when you can help it. But for those that can't help it, maybe they have to be outside, or the kids are going to summer camp and they're keeping them outside. How do we do things to prevent heat-related illnesses if you have to be, or you're outside doing strenuous work during the hottest part of the day?
Well, like I said, just do the best you can. But some people that work on the road, like this morning, I went to the Amazon plant and I did a presentation for those that work outdoors. The first thing you want to remember is you want to take breaks. Like maybe every hour or two to get into an air-conditioned trailer. They have a lot of trailers out there. And
right.
If you start feeling bad, report to the safety officer on duty. And that's what I had to say this morning. But there might not be a safety officer. But at the end of the day, we can watch out for each other. We talked about the buddy system, where if you're seeing one of your coworkers going down on a construction site, say, hey, man, come on, let's go over into this tree and talk. And if it's really bad, you want to just, take them in an air-conditioned trailer. If you don't start getting better, it can exacerbate into heat stroke, which is the one that's the medical emergency, where I keep rubbing my arm. But when you have a heat stroke, your central nervous system just shuts down. And in a lot of cases, a person's temperature can reach greater than 104 degrees. And you just can't sweat anymore. Your brain it turns off that defense mechanism where you sweat, and that's how you cool down. But
Absolutely,
that's when you call 911 immediately.
Okay, so that's important to know. When you see those symptoms, call 911 immediately. And you also mentioned looking out for people. So I do want to point out, too, like you said, looking out for those that are younger, more vulnerable, and, of course, the elderly. They're going to be more vulnerable as well in the heat. Dr. Quinn, is something that we are used to this time of the year, but it is a good reminder to all of our viewers to just be safe in the heat. Even though we want you to have fun, we also want you to stay safe and healthy.
Yes, that is correct.
Awesome. Thank you so much for joining us this morning, Dr. Quinn. We'll talk to you again next week on Wellness Wednesday. We also want to hear from you guys about our question of the day, and that's all about the concerts you've been to. Tell us your favorite one. Text us at 601-355.
Thanks, Dr. Quinn.